One of the things you don't get to do when you're at E3 at times is check up on stuff you really want to see. And I know that Trion just now released a trailer for the upcoming 1.3 patch, Waves of Madness. Is that it?
Correct, yes.
I haven't gotten to see it, even as a Rift player. Well, what can you do? But what is actually new in 1.3?
So we're releasing a whole new raid dungeon, a really, really big raid dungeon, way bigger than the ones that are out there, called Hammer Nail. And you'll see there some cool bosses, all sorts of cool stuff in there. Definitely check that out. We're also doing free character transfer, so you can transfer your characters over to other shards, try some other things out, which is cool. Guild Bank, we're adding some new, yes, I know, everybody wants Guild Bank. We're also adding some new appearances and new costumes for people who want to dress up. And we're adding a new Sliver site, some new achievements, some things where if you use Sliver site, you can find different artifacts, different collectibles. But the main thing is the dungeon, which is awesome, and a world event to open that dungeon. So we're going to have a world event running about 6 weeks, have fun, get new stuff, get new mounts, all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, a new world event then. How is it? Will it be different from Spoils of War?
It will. It will be different. We're basically making so it's not as timed. It's more player triggered. It's more how the players drive through it. It's more phases, and it's not as concentrated on one area.
What can you tell us about the event? What's going to happen during those 6 weeks?
A lot of water invasions, a lot of death invasions, a lot of things invading, you repelling the things back. It has 4 phases. Starts June 22nd. You'll have a good time.
All right. So where do you go from there? What's the next step for Rift?
That's a good question. So we're looking into things like how do we do open world PvP? We just added our mod system. So we're going to have UI modding so people can write plugins for our game. Up in the future, we're thinking about doing another zone. Will come out hopefully shortly. Some more zones, some more stuff for solo players to play so that they can do something post 50. And just listening to the community. I mean, what does the community want? Whatever they want, we'll do.
Plugins is interesting, though. That's always a big... for some, it's quite controversial. Some plugins in the past for other MMOs that kind of ruin the entire experience for some. How will you... Well, what kind of limitations will it put on plugins?
Well, we'll find the limitations. I mean, when you say limitations, I don't really understand what you mean. We're not going to allow you to basically press one button and have the guy win the game, right? But we are going to allow you to set up UIs, to do different UIs, to, you know, like for instance, set up raid frames the way you want to do raid frames and stuff like that. We basically want to open it up so you can get custom UI. Custom UI, custom controls. I mean, people sometimes people say our macro system's too powerful. But people are getting it, they know how to play it, and they're having fun. And if they're having fun, we're good. If they're not having fun, then we'll scale back.
You ever think more about stuff like thread meters, damage meters, all that kind of thing?
Right. So we'll allow people to do we have people who do damage meters, and right now the damage meters and the DPS calculators are all outside, and they're basically doing pop-ups. We'll allow them to do that inside the game. Which is great, right? Threat meters will allow them to do inside the game. We're working on doing threat meters and damage meters and doing it ourselves. But we'll see what the community does.
That's always a good thing, or a good question, is what people used to refer to as dumbing down the game, that right. Suddenly the UI can tell you everything. How do you feel about that?
Well, there's some sense to what they're saying, dumbing down the game if the UI does everything, but you can still hide information. Don't give them that information. And Rift is it's not a terribly hard game to get into, but it is kind of difficult to master the game. I mean, the soul system's difficult, making your character, setting up your things. It's not difficult to make a good character, but it is a little challenging to make a great character and to play that great character. And our UI won't make it so being a great player will go away. You'll still have great players and you'll still have good players.
How's it been so far trying to balance stuff at all? How do you feel about the Soul system, how it's evolved since launch?
It's been great. We're basically on it. We're continuously balancing it. We're hearing what players are saying. We're saying what problems are. And we're basically making it so everybody can play a class or a calling they love.
All right, fair enough. Looking forward to 1.3. When do you expect it to hit?
June 22nd, it will hit. There's no expected. It's June 22nd.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time, man.